All right. How has debate helped you inside of school and outside of school?
Debates helped me inside of school mostly during my government class because I'll ask more like in-depth questions. Like we just learned some stuff about gun control. Well, we talked about gun control in the Second Amendment. So I asked like more questions as to like why it was written the way it was written and why people don't want to change it. And outside of school, it's helped me like win more arguments with like friends and family. Like if my mom will ask me like why do I want to buy something, I'll tell her why, and then she'll be like that's not a good enough answer, and then I'll go more into depth on why I really need it. So like it helps me win arguments.
Well, for me, it kind of helped me a little bit last year because in my individual societies class, we had several debates, and like the first debate we had before I came into debate, I was kind of like didn't really do much research, just kind of went up there and just kind of talked my way through it and just kind of like attempted to like flip arguments and not actually do anything with any know-how. But after having some experience in debate, I was able to do some light research because yeah, and I managed to be able to speak better, have better critical thinking, and therefore have a better debate in class, which boosted my grade. As far as outside of school, I kind of been debating with everyone I know since forever because I like being right. So I don't really, it isn't really, it just kind of improved that skill, didn't really have too much of a dramatic effect on my outside life.
For me personally, it affected my outside of school thinking the most because before joining debate, this is somewhat embarrassing, but before joining debate, if someone presented an argument that sounded like it was good, I would be like, okay, that sounds pretty good, sounds like a good argument. And then someone would present a counter argument, and then I would then start believing that. But after going through debate and having experience with debate and looking at evidence, now I know what to look for in a good argument and what makes a good sound argument and something that isn't just a paragraph that sounds good but isn't actually worth anything.
I've still seen you do that in rounds though, where another team was like, and you're like, oh, that's a good argument. It's like,
I know. Okay. Well, but I mean, in real life scenarios, I do look at but they don't actually have any like real world link, or they're not actually like what they're saying. It makes sense in theory, but it's not actually applicable, or things like that.
Awesome. Okay. How has me sitting in on rounds helped you guys out?
Well,
You sat in one of our rounds. It's been one round. Okay, I think I can answer this. So when you sat in that one round, and we were in there, we did the debate, and the debate was over. You showed us things and told us things that we did that we probably haven't noticed.
Yeah.
That we did when we did it, and then when you told us that we did it, we were like, oh, da 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 da. So and then you point out things that we could have came back and said. So like it's just like secondhand evidence and help.
Yeah. There was 2 instances that I remember. One was with Anaya when our opponents proposed a counter plan and we were ignorant and didn't know that they couldn't do that. And so like your advice helped us out with the next tournament because like we were able to successfully win one of those rounds because we were able to allow the judge to know that was a counter argument that wasn't allowed. And there was another instance last year where me and my partner Madison were being barraged and berated in round, and we were just being hit with a lot. So we weren't able to really talk during cross-sex. I was a little more timid then. And so you and Mr. Adams were watching, and after the round, you guys were just saying, don't let them talk over you. And so that advice has followed me into this year because now I'm more aggressive in rounds, a little bit too aggressive in rounds, but I'm able to get my point across in maybe not the best manner, but it's still progressed my debate skills.
I agree with Tony and Anaya because I remember one tournament you sat in with Jacob and I, maybe you sat in for at least 2 of the rounds, and it really helped because since you're in the round, you're pretty biased and you don't really know, like you're evaluating yourself from a critical point of view of yourself, so you're not really looking at how you could have, you just remember you remember the debate how it was when you were inside of it, but you don't remember it how it actually was, and you presented like, you explained what we could have said in response. And I remember in one instance, there was a team that interpreted the resolution in a strange way, and they based their argument around this absolute version of the resolution that wouldn't actually make sense in the real world and wasn't meant for how, like, the people who created the resolution didn't intend for it to be interpreted that way. And you explained that to us, so now, like, if someone does something like that where it's hard to work around their argument or hard to even debate, now I know how to approach it and to point it out to the judge so that it's not something where I'm losing the round because my opponent structured an argument that I can't work against.
Cool. What do you guys love about debate?
Personally, I love practice, and it's not for the practicing. It's kind
yeah,
of
I know it's not for the practicing. So
practice is. I would say fun because it's just like a lot of weird and wacky things happen. It was
Work
fun.
gets done though.
Work gets done, just not efficiently, but work gets done.
Work gets done though.
Last year in practice, we would joke around and we would just like roast each other, in a sense, or like make fun of each other. But this year, it's like it's fun in a more inviting way because during practice we're able to like we're just like joke around.
Because I'm here.
Joking.
I feel like the new people have motivated you quite a bit, Tony.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, they've brought a lot of competition.
Yeah.
No, for me, I think it's just like more so like what you say. We get work done though. We like have like a lot of fun, but like it's sort of like a second family because like I come here, and it's like all my worries of school like just drop, and we can just have fun. We get our work done, but like we play around, goof around, and I made like a lot of friends who like I hope to keep throughout the rest of my high school year and like further down. So it's just fun. Oh yeah, and I like the coach. The coach is pretty cool.
Yeah, I know.
No more compliments.
Well, I also like the practices, but I like it too because I'm all for self-improvement, and debate is the one time where I really get to practice public speaking because that's something I'm like very bad. I'm not very bad, but I'm not the greatest at, and I freeze a lot, but like I can tell that over time, as long as I keep working at it and the more experience I gain, that I'll get better, more comfortable speaking and collecting my thoughts together in an efficient way, in ways that people can actually understand what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, and I think it's just like the experience. I think I can speak for all of us when we say like, we would not learn half the stuff we learned if we didn't do debate. And I think that debate is one way for us to actually know things outside of the U.S. and outside, because like we're like, if we didn't do debate, we'd be closed off to a lot of things. We wouldn't know a lot of things. We'd be ignorant to a lot of things.
Yeah, it helps you keep up and like understand on a more deeper level the things that actually happen currently in the status quo that usually other people in our peers or our friends shun or don't focus on because they're focused on other things. So debate is like an eye opener into like a more mature, older world that actually benefits all of us.
And seeing other people's point of view and stuff like that.
And like with the Catalonia thing and everything, and the issue with Catalonia trying to secede from Spain. We like.
I don't know why y'all love that topic so much.
Well, because
that
it
topic
was
amazing, Miss Phelps.
No, yeah, but like I had seen an article for it, but it was like one of those kind of things where you like, oh, that seems interesting. Let me bookmark that, and then you never go back to it. But then now with debate, you actually have to like read things that happen in the world.
It makes me want to watch the news more.
I hate the news. I just don't like the newscasters. They're annoying.
All right, next question. This is gonna be more of an impromptu one. So now you guys have all traveled with me. How do you guys like traveling for debate?
With
It's terrible.
Ms. Phelps, I love it.
It's terrible. Daniels drives slow, and somehow PF always gets stuck in the back of vans. But
Well, you
but
led
like
us
that.
to the back of the van.
And his food places, his food decisions are terrible. But other than that, like the traveling itself and like going to different tournaments, it's definitely been an experience that it's gonna be remembered, because it's one thing to debate in Baltimore and like see how Baltimore schools are set up and see how things are run in Baltimore. But once you get outside of Baltimore and you actually see how things are supposed to be ran, it's like a better output on things.
See, it's gonna be different for me because I didn't actually go to a tournament. Cause you know, you guys, yeah, it got canceled. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm more of the road trip expertise, cause like, and because I was in the van with Ms. Phelps, it was kind of fun. Like the music was nice. We had a fun time. We just like talking. Like it's
Miss
really
Phelps
like,
bump. Daniels be playing that draw country.
y'all not gonna come for him. But no, like the road trips are fun, and then we talk. We actually talk about things that don't have to be debate for like a good time. Like we
Yeah.
actually talk about things, and it's really cool. The food was great, man. Did y'all eat those tacos? Anyway, yeah, it's good.
I also feel like on like traveling, I like able to better connect with my teammates,
Oh yeah, when
because
we
like
went out.
usually
Yeah.
me and Charlotte just argue about everything, but like on this one away tournament where I believe Hope and Ezra went,
Oh, you talking about Matt?
they
Yeah.
went up to semifinals. Like me and Charlotte actually had a decent conversation about bigotry in America.
Ah,
So it was like I was able to better connect
it's recording.
than instead of just like the constant arguing, bickering that happens during practice.
And we went out for lunch and got crepes, and it was good.
Wait, oh, you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those kids were
Oh yeah, but I like traveling with the debate team too, just because, well not just because, but connecting with my teammates, like especially when since we shared a hotel together, we could spend more time with each other in an environment that wasn't inside of the school. And also inside of the actual competition, we got to debate with people from different places around the country on the East Coast. Because when we went to Massachusetts, we had people from Massachusetts, we had people from New York, we had people from all over the East Coast, and it was pretty interesting. And also some of the judges, actually a lot of the judges were from different places too, so the way that they judged was differently, and the way that they gave their reasons for a decision, they were different too from Baltimore.
Cool. All right. Final question. So I know I can be tough on y'all. And sometimes I can get into my speeches, but have any of them actually motivated you guys?
I think I got a good one. Last year,